There are people who walk into a room and immediately change the energy. Not because they are loud, not because they are trying to dominate, not because they demand attention, but because something about their presence makes other people uneasy. Some go quiet around them, some become defensive, some start competing for no reason. Some act cold before a real conversation even begins. Some smile, but there's tension behind it. And if you've experienced this, you may have spent years misunderstanding it. You may have thought, maybe I'm too serious. Maybe I'm too quiet. Maybe I make people uncomfortable. Maybe something is wrong with me. But what if that discomfort is not always a sign that you are doing something wrong? What if your presence doesn't intimidate people because you are aggressive, but because you are difficult to manipulate? What if it's not your words that disturb them, but what they feel in themselves when they are around you? Carl Jung understood something most people never fully grasp. Human beings are not only disturbed by what is obvious, they are disturbed by what activates the unconscious. In other words, people don't only react to who you are, they react to what your presence awakens inside them. Your confidence may awaken their insecurity. Your silence may awaken their inner noise. Your self-respect may expose where they betray themselves. Your authenticity may make their mask feel heavier. Your calm may reveal their chaos. And the strange part is, you may not even realize you are doing any of this, because sometimes intimidation has nothing to do with trying to be powerful. Sometimes it comes from being deeply rooted, from not needing too much, from not chasing too much, from not performing too much, from simply existing in a way that makes false things harder to maintain. So in this video, we're going to explore 7 signs your presence intimidates people without you realizing it. But not in a shallow, everyone is jealous of you way. This is deeper than that. This is about the hidden psychology of projection, shadow, insecurity, and why some people become strange around those who carry a certain inner weight. Because sometimes the real reason people act differently around you is not because you are too much. It is because your presence forces them to feel what they usually spend their lives avoiding. 1. People become defensive around you even when you are calm. One of the clearest signs your presence intimidates people is this. You can say something simple, sometimes even neutral, and people respond as if they're being challenged. You ask a normal question, they over-explain. You make a mild observation, they become tense. You stay silent. They start justifying themselves, and you're left wondering, why are they reacting like this? Here's why. Some people are not reacting to your words. They are reacting to what they feel under your gaze. If you are naturally observant, emotionally perceptive, or hard to fool, people often sense it before they consciously understand it. They feel that you notice patterns. They feel that you don't just hear what they say. You register the contradiction, the tone, the hesitation, the energy behind it. And that can make insecure people feel exposed. Jung would say that what people hide in the shadow becomes agitated when it feels seen. So if someone is already carrying dishonesty, self-doubt, envy, or hidden insecurity, your calm presence may feel like a threat. Not because you attack them, but because they no longer feel fully protected by their mask. That's why some people get defensive around quiet, grounded people. Not because grounded people are cruel, but because calm attention can feel more exposing than criticism. A critic can be dismissed, but someone who simply sees too much, that unsettles people. And if this happens often in your life, it may mean your presence carries a kind of psychological clarity people are not used to. 2. People start competing with you when you weren't competing at all. This is a big one. You share a small win, and suddenly someone has a bigger one. You mention a plan, and they immediately need to tell you theirs is better. You open up about something difficult, And instead of empathy, they turn it into comparison. You didn't enter a competition, but somehow they did. Why? Because intimidation often shows up as unnecessary competition. When a person feels secure, they don't need to constantly measure themselves against others. But when someone already feels uncertain about their worth, your presence can trigger comparison immediately, and often it has less to do with what you said and more to do with how you carry yourself. Maybe you don't seek approval the way they do. Maybe you seem comfortable in your own skin. Maybe you don't over-explain. Maybe you're naturally self-contained. Maybe you don't perform insecurity for social comfort. That alone can trigger people. Because when someone has built their whole identity on comparison, they feel uneasy around a person who does not seem to be playing that game. Jung might say that what we envy or compete with in others often points to something unclaimed within ourselves. So when people compete with you for no clear reason, it may be because your presence activates the gap between who they are and who they wish they were, and instead of confronting that pain inwardly, they act it out socially. That's why some people turn your existence into a contest, not because you asked for one, but because being around you makes their unfinished work impossible to ignore. 3. Your silence makes people reveal too much. Have you ever noticed that some people talk too much around you? They overshare, they over-explain, they ramble, they reveal things they probably didn't mean to reveal. They keep talking as if they're trying to fill something. That is often a sign your presence intimidates them, because silence is powerful, especially when it belongs to someone who feels emotionally contained. Most people are not comfortable with silence. Silence removes distractions. Silence removes performance cues. Silence creates space where people become aware of themselves. And if someone is already uneasy internally, your silence becomes a mirror. Jung understood that projection rushes in where self-awareness is missing. So when you stay still, composed and quiet, people begin projecting into that stillness. If they feel insecure, they assume you're judging them. If they feel inferior, they assume you think you're above them. If they feel dishonest, they fear you can sense it. If they feel emotionally scattered, your stillness becomes unbearable. That's why they start talking, not always because they have something important to say, but because your silence makes them feel their own inner noise. And here's the twist. You may not even be trying to create that effect. You may simply be a person who doesn't leak energy constantly, but in a world full of nervous performance, quiet presence feels intense. People are used to being managed socially, smiled at, reassured, performed for. When they don't get that from you, they have to face themselves a little more directly, and many people are not prepared for that. 4. People call you intimidating when you're really just self-respecting. This is one of the most misunderstood signs of all. A lot of people are not intimidated by power. They are intimidated by boundaries. They are intimidated by people who don't over-chase, over-explain, over-apologize, or over-bend. So if you say no clearly, if you walk away when something feels wrong, if you don't beg for inclusion, if you don't fight to be chosen by inconsistent people, if you don't abandon yourself just to keep the peace, many people will label that as intimidating, but what they often mean is, I can't access you the way I access others. That bothers people, especially those who are used to emotional leverage. Those who rely on guilt, mixed signals, manipulation, charm, or social pressure become deeply uncomfortable around people with self-respect. Because self-respect interrupts the usual script. You don't respond the way they expected. You don't collapse the way they hoped. You don't overreact in the way they can control. And suddenly, they don't know how to place you, so they call you cold, difficult, hard to read, intense, intimidating. Jung would recognize this as the tension between the authentic self and the collective mask. The more a person becomes inwardly aligned, the less available they are for unconscious social games. And that threatens people who depend on those games. So if your boundaries make people uncomfortable, don't rush to assume you're harsh. Sometimes what intimidates others is simply the fact that your dignity is not negotiable. 5. People watch you closely, but don't support you openly. This one is darker. If your presence intimidates people, they often become strangely attentive to you. They notice your movements. They watch your progress. They remember details. They keep up with what you're doing. They may know more about your life than you expected. But when it comes to real support, they go quiet. No warmth, no real celebration, no clear encouragement, just observation. Why? Because intimidation creates fixation, especially in people who feel challenged by your existence. They want to understand you, measure you, figure out whether you're really as solid as you seem. See if you'll slip. See if you're human after all. See if they can reduce the mystery. Jung might say that people become obsessed with what they have not integrated within themselves. So if you embody something they crave, confidence, inner order, emotional restraint, authenticity, courage, they may become highly aware of you without ever being able to support you sincerely, because support would require humility, and humility would require admitting that your presence teaches them something. That's why some people study you instead of celebrating you. They're not necessarily always evil. Sometimes they're conflicted. Part of them admires you. Another part resents what you awaken in them. And that creates that strange energy many people know too well. They're watching, but not clapping. Present, but not warm. Interested, but not open-hearted. If you've experienced this, it may be because your presence carries more psychological weight than you realize. 6. Your authenticity makes fake people visibly uncomfortable. You don't have to be loud or rebellious for this to happen. Sometimes all it takes is being real. Being real in the way you speak. Real in the way your energy matches your words. Real in the way you don't shift your identity every time the room changes. Real in the way you don't constantly fish for approval. This alone can intimidate people who live through masks, because fake people survive through adaptation. They read the room, mirror what works, and manage perception constantly. Their whole life is organized around how they appear. So when someone enters with a more unified energy, when their inside and outside feel more aligned, it creates discomfort. Why? Because authenticity exposes fragmentation. It reminds people of the split between who they are and who they pretend to be. Jung believed that the further a person is from their true self, the more threatened they may become by those moving toward it. That's why genuine people often trigger strange reactions, not because they are attacking anyone, but because truth has pressure. Your presence makes performance harder to enjoy. Your coherence makes their inconsistency more obvious. Your honesty makes their social mask feel heavier, and even if they can't explain it, they feel that pressure, so they may dismiss you, call you too much, act like you're intense, pretend you're hard to connect with. But often, what they're really saying is, your way of being makes my act harder to maintain. That is one of the deepest forms of intimidation there is. Not physical power, not status, not dominance, just truth, embodied clearly enough that illusion starts feeling unstable around it. 7. Some people dislike you before they even know you. This may be the most painful sign. You've barely spoken. You've done nothing to them. And yet their energy toward you feels off immediately. Cold, distant, dismissive, strangely irritated. And if you've experienced this often, it can really hurt, because you start wondering if there's something wrong with you. But sometimes the truth is far more psychological than personal. People often react not only to who you are, but to what you symbolize in their inner world. Maybe your confidence touches their insecurity. Maybe your peace touches their chaos. Maybe your discipline touches their guilt. Maybe your beauty touches their comparison wound. Maybe your independence touches their fear of being unnecessary. Maybe your self-containment touches their dependence on attention. And instead of becoming curious, they become hostile, because hostility is easier than self-examination. Jung would say that the unconscious is often encountered outwardly before it is recognized inwardly. So when someone instantly dislikes you, they may not actually be responding to you in a fair way at all. They may be responding to what your presence forces them to feel. That doesn't mean you should become arrogant and assume everyone is jealous. It means you should understand that human beings are often far less objective than they appear. Some reactions are about you, but many are about what you awaken. And if you carry a presence that reflects back contradiction, insecurity, envy, falseness or weakness, then yes, some people will dislike you before they've truly met you. Not because you harmed them, but because your existence disrupted the story they were trying to maintain about themselves. Now here is the deeper twist in all of this. If your presence intimidates people, that does not automatically mean you are superior. It may simply mean you carry something they haven't made peace with in themselves. That's important, because this is not about feeding ego. This is not about walking through life imagining that everyone is threatened by you. In fact, that would make you less conscious, not more. The real lesson is more subtle. If you intimidate people without trying, it may be because your presence is less available for falseness. You make certain games harder to play. You make masks harder to wear. You make insecurity harder to hide. You make superficial connection feel less satisfying. And that can create loneliness, because people who carry this kind of presence are often misunderstood. They get called intimidating when they're simply honest, cold when they're simply careful, difficult when they're simply self-respecting, too much when they're simply too real for the wrong environment. That is the cost. But there is also power in it. Because once you understand this, you stop shrinking yourself just to make unconscious people comfortable. You stop performing softness for those who only respect self-abandonment. You stop apologizing for the psychological weight of a presence that took years of pain, reflection, and self-confrontation to build. So if people become defensive around you, if they compete with you when you weren't competing, if your silence makes them reveal too much, if your boundaries get called intimidating, if they watch you more than they support you, if your authenticity makes fake people visibly uncomfortable, if some people dislike you before they even know you, then maybe your presence really does intimidate people. But not because you are trying to, and not because you are meant to dominate anyone. Maybe it is because your energy carries something many people are not used to encountering: clarity, self-possession, depth, restraint, authenticity, and the quiet force of someone who is not easily shaped by the room. And in a world built on performance, comparison, and hidden insecurity, that kind of presence is powerful. So don't rush to make yourself smaller. Don't dilute your self-respect just to seem easier to handle. Don't confuse being misunderstood with being wrong. Just stay conscious, stay grounded, stay humble, stay honest, stay human. Because the goal is not to intimidate people. The goal is to become so inwardly real that people who rely on masks can no longer stand near you without feeling the difference. And yes, that difference will cost you. It may cost you shallow approval, easy access, certain social comforts, but it will also protect you from a life built on pretending. And maybe that is the real message here. Sometimes the people who intimidate others most are simply the ones who stopped betraying themselves. Comment below. My presence speaks before I do. Subscribe for more Carl Jung-style psychology, shadow work, human nature, emotional intelligence, and self-mastery.